Well, good morning, everybody. It's December 8th. Go ahead and call our meeting to order and ask who's on here. Frank, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of course. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Frank. And would the clerk of the board please call the roll?
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here. Thank you. Move on to item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence to report?
We do. We received the 2021 levy certification from the Port of Dewatto, Port of Hoodsport, and the Mason County Fire Districts 3, 5, 6, 11, 17, and 18. A letter was received from George Funk regarding an automatic rate increase for NBCI sewer system based on CPI. A Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent in marijuana and liquor licenses due to expire. We received a letter from the Mason Conservation District regarding Mason County Voluntary Stewardship Program. Janine McLaughlin sent in an application for the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency Aging Advisory Council. And Leslie and Landra Skelly sent in a letter asking Mason County Commissioners to submit a protest complaint of voter fraud.
Great, thank you. Move on to item number 4.2. It looks like we have a few news releases. Commissioner Schutte.
Sure, give me 1 second here. Scrolling through my packet.
Page 72.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mason County is seeking an applicant to serve on the Timberland Regional Library Board of Trustees to complete a term expiring December 31st, 2024. The TRL Board of Trustees is a 5-county rural library district, including Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. The board is made up of 7 members appointed by county commissioners, 1 from the 5 counties included in the district, and 2 at-large members. This is an unpaid position, although travel and board-related expenses are reimbursable. The TRL Board of Trustees attend monthly meetings and scheduled events, Mason County Library visits, and act as a liaison between Timberland's board and the Mason County Commissioners. Board meetings are generally scheduled on the 4th Wednesday of each month at 5:30 p.m. If the 4th Wednesday interferes with holidays or conferences, the meeting is held on the 3rd or the 5th Wednesday. There are usually 6 meetings a year held in Olympia and 6 meetings held in other areas of the district. Advisory application forms may be obtained from the Mason County Commissioner's Office at 411 North 5th Street, Shelton, or preferably on our website at www.co.mason.wa.us, or by calling 427-960-9670, extension 419. Application should be submitted to the Commissioner's Office.
All right, thank you. Move on to item 4.3, news release regarding the solid waste rate increases.
I know it says Loretta, but I'm doing it. Richard Dickinson, Utilities Waste Deputy Director. Let's see, per Mason County Resolution number 61-13, disposal rates at all Mason County transfer and drop box stations will increase by 1.2% beginning January 1st, 2021. As directed by Resolution number 61-13, fees will be increased each year by the amount of the October to October Consumer Price Index, CPIU, for the Olympia metropolitan area. This increase is to cover the annual cost increase experienced by the county to operate and maintain the Shelton, Hoodsport, Union, and Belfair transfer and drop box locations.
All right, perfect. Now let's move on to item 4.4. I'm assuming that's you as well. It's the water and sewer system rate increases.
Yep, that's me. I'm ready. Okay. Per Mason County Resolutions 146-08, 05-09, and 06-09, all water and sewer rates and fees at the Mason County owned and operated Russellwood, Beards Cove, and North Bay Case Inlet water and sewer systems will increase by 1.3% for the 2021 calendar year. This increase corresponds to the April 2020 Consumer Price Index CPI-U for the Bremerton area for the 1-year period ending April 2020. This increase applies to all charges associated with the referenced water and sewer utility systems, including monthly service rates, connection and permit fees, and other related charges, as well as covering the annual cost increase experienced by the county for the operation and maintenance of the above referenced water and sewer utility systems. Notices will be mailed out to all Beards Cove, North Bay, Case Inlet, and Russellwood utility users because of these rate changes.
All right, great. Thank you, Richard.
You bet.
Move on to item number 5. This is the time we set aside to give the public the opportunity to address the commission regarding items not on today's agenda. If you wish to address the commission, please raise your hand. Chair will recognize you. Please state your name and address before your comments. And we do have optional ways to address us via email. You can also call in. And I think I heard Ken's voice.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite how to raise my hand on this. Yeah, I would like to talk.
All right, Ken, go ahead.
Thank you, commissioners. Good morning. I watched several of the Belfair meetings last week, courtesy of Mason Web TV, and I really appreciated having that opportunity. During the sewer briefing, one of you folks asked Ms. Swanson about pending development, and she said something about Romance Hill and the Old B. I assume that's the Old Belfair Highway, as the consultant was running his cursor down the Old Belfair Highway at the time and said something about a new pump station in the vicinity of Irene Creek. I sent an email to Ms. Swanson regarding the project clarification, and I haven't heard back. But if it is the North Mason Regional Fire Authority project that's going on, and potentially the county leasing the existing building, I think it would be wise to forego any further discussion about sewer until the SEPA, the special use permit, and the sub-area planning process is completed. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have anyone else that would like to address the commission? All right, seeing none, let's move on to item number 5, adoption of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move adoption of today's agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the motion passes. And that was item number 6 instead of 5. So now let's move on to item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the November 23rd, 2020 briefing minutes, November 17th, 2020, and the November 24th, 2020 regular meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the November 23rd, 2020 briefing minutes and the November 17th, 2020 and November 24th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes. Move on to item number 8, approval of today's action agenda. I have to giggle because I said it right, and I just have to recognize that I did say it without stuttering. Commissioners will read the items on the action agenda. Commissioners or members of the public can ask questions or have the items removed for a separate discussion and vote. Commissioner Netherland, if you could read items 8.1 through 8.8. I will read 8.9 through 8.15. Commissioner Schutte, if you could read items 8.16 through 8.23.
Gladly, Madam Chair. Item number 8.1 reads approval of the 2021 rate increase consistent with Resolution 65-18 and fees and charges policy for parks. The rates are adjusted by the CPI for all cities from June to June of 2021. It is a 1.7% increase. Item number 8.2, approval to set a public hearing for Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 at 9:15 a.m. to consider approving the franchise agreement between Mason County and Sunrise Beach Water System to construct, operate, and maintain their water system along the North Shore Road. Item number 8.3, approval for the one-year contract extension with Coastal Custodial for Mason County Janitorial Services. Item number 8.4, approval to extend the lease agreement with the North Mason Resources providing office space for veteran service officers for 2021 at $350 per month payable from the Veterans Assistance Fund, Fund number 190. Item number 8.5, approval of the Mason County Telework Authorized Essential Employees for Support Services for the COVID-19 emergency. Item number 8.6, approval to award $90,000 from the Rural County Sales and Use Tax, the 09 Fund, to the Mason County Economic Development Council in 2021 for business retention, expansion, recruitment, project, and economic development planning as allowed in RCW 82.14.370 and enter into a contract. Item number 8.7, approval to sign the Department of Commerce COVID-19 Outbreak Emergency Housing Grant Contract, number 316-46108-20, Amendment B, to extend the contract from December 31st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. Item number 8.8, approval for the Department of Emergency Management to sign the FY20 Emergency Management Performance Grant Contract, number E21-121, to receive $35,641 for programs, enhancements, and continuation of special programs that assist with planning, educating, and exercising citizens and staff in emergency preparedness.
Item 8.9, approval for the chair to sign the out-of-class leads special pay authorization request forms for the following individuals: Todd Cannon, Kevin Iosa, Josh Luck, Jeannie McFarland, Don Mezogenic, Grace Miller, and Anna Smith. Item 8.10, approval for the chair to sign the vehicle take-home assignment authorization request forms for the following individuals: Michael Lieberg, Alan Eaton, Rodley LaRue, Grant Deschamps, Cynthia Brewer, Kelly Frazier, and Brian Chrisman. Item 8.11, approval of warrants and Treasury electronic remittances. Claim Clearing Fund warrant number 807-5934 through 807-6203 in the amount of $1,839,986.26. Direct Deposit Fund warrant numbers 73072 through 73470 in the amount of $760,460.31. Salary Clearing Fund warrants number 7005567 through 7005592 in the amount of $520,539.18. Item 8.12, approval to appoint Ed Huber and Wayne Nicholson to fill 2 new terms on the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission, expiring on November 30th, 2023, and appoint Jan Goodpaster to 1 vacant term ending November 30th, 2021. Item 8.13, approval to authorize Public Works to purchase 5 law enforcement radar units, StarNext software, and laptop as a sole source purchase in the amount of $15,870. Item 8.14, approval to consider the hearing board or the hearings examiner recommendation to approve road vacation number 401, vacating several streets in Lakewood Plat A, C, D, and F. Approval 8.15 or 8.15, approval of the resolution to set a hearing date with the hearings examiner for Wednesday, January 13th, 2021 at 1 p.m. to consider public comment on the petition for vacation of a public easement in the plat of Skookum Point tracks along the south boundary of Assessor's parcel number 32024-51-00027, recorded in volume 4 of plats at pages 55 or 54 and 55, records of Mason County, Washington.
Item 8.16, approval to appoint Jeff Bickford to the Solid Waste Advisory Committee for a 3-year term that expires December 8th, 2023. Item 8.17, approval of contract amendment number 3 for a 6-month time extension, changing the contract expiration date to June 30th, 2021 with Kennedy Jenks Consultants Incorporated for completing the detailed design, bid document prep, as well as project and environmental coordination and permitting work required for the Belfair Sewer Extension Phase 2 project. Item 8.18, approval of contract amendment number 2 with Correct Equipment for service of grinder pumps at North Bay and Belfair to extend the contract 2 years, changing the contract expiration date to December 31st, 2022. Item 8.19, approval to authorize Public Works to use the Omnia Partners competitively awarded contract with Schneider Electric, contract number R170602, to provide programming and control modifications to the existing Public Works HVAC KMC system and allow the Public Works Director to sign the contract agreement between Schneider Electric and the county. Item 8.20, approval to authorize the Director of Support Services to approve and pay the Building 10 Phase 2 architectural invoices as follows. Civil engineering for $30,690, landscape design for $3,432, structural engineering for $3,850, and architectural drawings for $25,000. Item 8.21, approval for a contract with the Department of Commerce to accept the Community Development Block Grant CV1 and sign the contract with the Community Action Council to distribute funds in a manner defined under the grant contract. Item 8.22, approval to renew the Trails on-site park host contractual agreements for an additional 2 years with the existing park hosts for MCRA Park, Oakland Bay Park, Truman Glick Park, Walker Park, Foothills Park, and Mason Lake Park, and renew the Trails on-site park host contractual agreements for an additional 1 year with the existing park host for Sand Hill Park. Item 8.23, approval to extend the expiration date and billing for food establishment permit fees to February 28th, 2021.
Thank you. Now that we've read through today's action agenda, are there any items you would like to be removed for separate vote? All right. Are there any items that the public would like to be removed for separate discussion or vote? Let's see.
Yes, I have one. Yeah, I just want some clarification on item 8.17, not necessarily a separate vote.
Okay.
Madam Chair, would you like to ask one of the employees to speak on that before I make a motion?
Yes. Let's see. Do we have Loretta on here?
I do, commissioners. This is just a simple extension. There's no change in fee. The contract originally was planned to expire year end, and this is just to wrap up all of our design work and make sure that we've got a contract to pay for that work.
All right, Ken, does that help answer your question?
Well, I was wanting to get some clarification on which phase 2 of the Belfair sewer extension this is. There was a phase 2 of the sewer that comes down the old Belfair Highway, and I guess there's a phase 2 with this other project that's going on. I just want to make sure which one it is, which phase 2 it is that we're talking about.
Oh, sure, Ken. This is nothing to do with extending down old Belfair Highway.
Okay, thank you. It's always been referred to as phase 2.
Yeah, I understand the confusion.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, this is relating to the design work that is underway for the extension.
Up on the plateau.
That would, yes, and
okay.
Serve the Puget Sound Industrial Center area.
Thank you, commissioners. No need for a separate vote.
All right. All right, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Loretta.
Madam Chair, I'll move for approval of the action agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the action agenda as presented. Do we have further discussion?
I have a comment. I just want to give an extra special thank you to these people that have stepping up to volunteer. It really is appreciated. Ed Huber, Wayne Nicholson. The Historic Preservation Commission is very important to this county, and as is the Solid Waste Advisory Committee with Jack Bickford stepped up again on that. People don't realize it because they don't see it in their day-to-day, but it's extremely important. And again, a special thank you to those people that are our park hosts. People in the streets would never imagine the things that they go through or the things that they have to see and deal with. But I do assure you, we have some of the best park hosts even possibly available. And the idea that they're signing up again is sure appreciated by this county.
Agreed.
Yep, I would agree with that as well. We've got some great people here. All right, moving on to the adoption of the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item number 9. Do we have any department heads or elected officials that would like to address us?
Commissioners, if I may take a minute to address Ken's earlier comments, would that be all right?
Sure.
He had a question. And Ken, I apologize if you're still on there for not following up last week to your email. It was kind of a crazy week, to say the least. The consultant was not pointing or intending to have a new lift station on Old Belfair Highway. And if I did say Old B for new development, that was not correct. Really, where we were focusing on both pointing and discussing potential new development or redevelopment was off of Log Yard Road to the west of SR3. And that's where a potential lift station would also be located, is there off of Log Yard Road, again, west of SR3. So hopefully that answers your question. And if not, I'm happy to, I'll shoot you a map, Ken, and just X marks the spot for you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Loretta.
You're welcome.
Do we have anyone else that would like to address the commission? All right, seeing no hands or unmuted mics, let's move on to our public hearing. So we have 3 public hearings. We'll move on to 10.1. This is a public hearing to consider approval of budget supplemental appropriations and amendments to the 2020 budget, and ask staff to come forward to present.
Thank you, commissioners. This public hearing is to consider approval of budget supplemental appropriations and amendments to the 2020 budget. Total adjustments to authorized expenditure appropriations in the general fund requested are $4,292,055, and total adjustments to authorized expenditure appropriations in funds other than the general fund requested are $14,337,538, and the details are as follows. In the auditor's office, $20,000 increase to revenue and expenditures for the HAVA election security grant. Also in the auditor's office, $32,904 increase to revenue and expenditures for the civic engagement grant. In district court, $107,412 increase to revenue and expenditures for AOC funding for COVID. It includes 1 JAV system. In the sheriff's office, $15,908 for increase to revenue and expenditures for off-duty patrol contracts for Skyline Theater, Treasure Island, and USDA. In Superior Court, $78,078 increase to revenue and expenditures for AOC funding for COVID. In Therapeutic Court, $9,278 increase to revenue and expenditures for SAMHSA FRC expansion grant. In non-departmental, $5,211,000 increase to revenue and $1,190,000 increase to expenditures, with the balance going to ending fund balance, $4,021,000. That's for CARES Act funding for economic opportunity professional services. And in the auditor's office, $15,000 increase to expenditures for the QLIS system. In the sheriff's office, $178,000 for increase to expenditure for the touchless body scanner for the jail. And in the general fund, we have a transfer out to historical preservation fund of $4,254, and that's for internal allocations to offset that cost to historical preservation. In community support services, Fund 117, we have an increase of $1,094,038 increase to revenue and expenditures for CARES Act funding for housing and amendment to HEN funding. In Community Services Health Fund 150, we have an increase to revenue and expenditures of $1,916,050 for Health Department COVID CARES Act funding, other COVID funding, and LEAD funding. In transfers out within the general fund, we have a transfer to REIT of $1,911,000, and that is for Building 10 improvements. Also a transfer out, and this one's to Information Technology Fund 500, $230,000. That's for COVID-related expenditures to IT. In emergency management, we have $70,567 increase to expenditures for extra help funded through CARES and FEMA and AFSCME, and also an AFSCME contract increase. In community development, we have $58,000 an increase to expenditures for 2 new FTEs added to DCD for 4 months of 2020. That's the permit tech and planner. In the sheriff's office, we have $335,000 increase to expenditures for motor pool capital upfits. In courthouse security, we have a $5,000 increase to expenditures for higher than anticipated courthouse security costs. In trial court improvement fund 135, we have an increase to expenditures of $25,000 for JAVs for district court. In Russellwood Sewer and Water Fund 411, we have $1,175,385 increase to revenue and expenditures, and that's for the refunding of the Russellwood bond. In the MC LTGO 2008 Bond Fund 250, we have an increase to revenues and expenditures of $1,936,303, and that's for refunding of bonds and loans, Fund 350 and 413. In REIT 1, Fund 350, we have an increase to revenues and expenditures of $410,570, and that's refunding of bonds and loans for Building 10 and 3rd and Pine. And the last refunding entry will be for the Belfair Sewer, Fund 413, increase to revenues and expenditures of $5,274,192, and that's for Belfair Sewer bond refunding. And the general fund, the clerk's office, we have an increase to revenues and expenditures of $1,654 for AOC COVID funding for 2 laptops. Also in the clerk's office, an increase to expenditures of $10,000 for AFSCME contract increases. In solid waste fund 402, there's an increase of $300,000 to revenues and expenditures for increased operating revenue and increased hauling expenditures. Also in solid waste, we have an expenditure increase of $65,000 for the general services Teamsters contract increase. And the last entry is to the auditor's office, $20,000 increase to expenditures for the AFSCME contract increase. So with that, are there any questions on any of these requests?
We have questions for staff?
Not for me.
None for me.
This time we set aside for the public to comment. Do we have any comments from or questions from anyone in the Zoom room? All right. Seeing none, we'll move to commissioner deliberation or a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the 2020 budget supplemental appropriations and amendments as follows. Total adjustments to authorize expenditures appropriations in the general fund of $4,292,055 and total adjustments to authorize expenditure appropriations in funds other than the general fund in the amount of $14,337,538 as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of the budget supplemental appropriations and amendments to the 2020 budget. Request for 2020 budget supplemental appropriation and amendments of total adjustments to authorize expenditure appropriations in the general fund, $4,292,055. Total adjustments to authorized expenditure appropriations in funds other than the general fund, $14,337,538. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Jennifer. Now let's move on to item 10.2. Don't go away. This is a public hearing to certify to the county assessor the amount of taxes levied for county purposes and the amount of taxes levied for collection in 2021, and ask staff to come forward.
Thank you, commissioners. So this is a continuation from the November 24th public hearing. And again, it's to certify to the county assessor the amount of taxes levied for county purposes and the amount of taxes levied for collection in 2021. And we did receive from the assessor's office all of the levy certification requests. They received all of them from the taxing districts. And so there are two options for recommended action. And I would recommend option 1, which is move to adopt the resolution certifying to the county assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2021. The other option is option 2, which is move to continue the hearing to the December 15th, 2020 commission meeting at 9:15 a.m. to adopt the resolution certifying to the county assessor the property taxes tax levies for collection in 2021. So any questions or comments on any of that?
None from me.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, do we have any questions from public or others? I'm not seeing any hands raised or any mics unmuted. So we'll move on to I was going to say customer. How about commissioner deliberation or a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to adopt the resolution certifying to the county assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2021.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution certifying to the county assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2021. Sometimes I have issues going from one screen to the next. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Just watching Patty applaud. That's awesome. Oh, that's good. All right, let's move on to item 10.3. This is a public hearing to consider approval of the Chehalis Basin Partnership addendum in response to the 2018 Stream Flow Restoration Act, and ask staff to come forward to present.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. So this morning's hearing is, as was just said, the Chehalis Basin Partnership addendum. The Chehalis Basin Partnership covers RIAs 22 and 23. Those are water resource inventory areas. And with staff report, the situation, the state legislature approved legislation in 2018 regarding solutions to the Hearst decision, and that was ESSB 6091. The resulting RCW in 9094 requires watershed planning to address consumptive use for permit exempt wells. As background, under 9094, the Chehalis Basin, a water resource inventory area of 22 and 23, qualifies as a Section 202 planning watershed in that it had an approved plan from 2004 that needed to be updated and approved by Ecology in 2021. Since 2019, Mason County participated in the partnership to write and approve the addendum to the 2004 plan. The committee addressed population growth, geographic allocations of population, consumptive use for both indoor and outdoor uses, and project design to meet those consumptive uses and provide a net ecological benefit. Net ecological benefit is defined as a quantitative increase above what is required to meet consumptive use. The basin the basin drains the southwest regions of Mason County that do not drain either to Puget Sound or Hood Canal waters. So we're really talking the just two drainages, and we can come back to that. This region of Mason County has experienced the lowest growth rate in the county and is typified by lumber production. The analysis, this work, while specific to the Chehalis Basin, parallels the work that we're doing currently in RIA 14 and 15, and I'm sure two of the commissioners are intimately familiar with those pieces of work and the many documents that went into that. Those are 203 watersheds which require a new plan. The 202 planning watersheds have a shorter timeline, so that's why we're bringing this to you this early, because it's already heading to Ecology for approval. And we have to have this in all the administration pieces complete by January 2021. In the beginning of 2019, I began attending the staff meetings for policy, projects, and technical analysis, and brought Mason County's data forward to the partnership committees to work with and work through those processes. The plan addressed consumptive use based on actually this is incorrect, 2.75 people for Mason County, but we used 2.5 people per home throughout the basin as our consumptive use numbers. At 60 gallons per day per person for indoor use with 90% recharge for indoor domestic use. Those are consistent with RIA 14 and 15 and 16. Outdoor use was calculated by observing irrigated averages per parcel and assigning them numbers to use to account for seasonal irrigation. This number is consistent with the results currently being discussed in RIA 14 and 15, and that's 0.07 acres per well of outdoor irrigated use. So we're very close in that 0.05, 0.07 numbers that we're working on, and especially in RIA 14, it's very close. Project planning addresses water use throughout the basin to meet NEB for the entire basin, not just those stream reaches within Mason County. The projects listed meet the requirement to offset consumptive use, as well as providing for net ecological benefit with a suitable safety margin to meet that target. I will put in here that for us, our safety margin, we use the OFM medium population growth as our guideline, using the high and low as our safety margins. So that's a model that we were trying to take forward in the other two RIAs. RCW 9094 directs part of Ecology to work with initiating governments and planning units to update the 22-23 watershed management plan by June 30th and to identify potential impacts of exempt well use, identify evidence-based conservation measures, and to identify projects to improve watershed health. The watershed management plan includes updates and recommendations for projects and actions that will measure, protect, and enhance stream resources, and improve watershed functions that support the recovery of threatened and endangered salmonids. Staff recommends adoption of the ordinance approving the amendment to the Chehalis Basin Watershed Management Plan, updating the approved plan from 2004. And with that, I'll answer questions.
All right. Do we have any questions for staff? All right. Seeing none, are there any questions from anyone in the Zoom room? I'm not seeing any hands or any microphones unmuted.
If I could add one or two things, Commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
So the two drainages we're talking about are Satsup and the Cloqualum, which are on the far western southwest edge of the county, and those drain down into Grace Harbor County. Most of the population growth will be in the Grace Harbor County portions of those drainages. So when you see the map in the plan, it doesn't break it out by county, it breaks it out by drainages. So that's addressed in there. One thing about this plan is it does not have policy recommendations that would change anything that we do as far as issuing permits. So anything that's currently in place in RCW 9094 stays in place. We make no changes to our operations.
Great. Thank you. So Dave, I have to ask, is there anything in this plan that you have concerns about, or is it a pretty good plan?
This is a pretty good plan, and it builds on a relationship that has existed in the Chehalis Basin for 20 years. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't do a lot of policy work, because we really decided that policy belongs at the local level and with the different cities and counties that were involved. So we're allowing the cities and counties to do that piece, and we're working just on projects and net ecological benefit. And there's a very strong adaptive management piece in here, which calls us together periodically to review what's going on in the basin and then make adjustments as needed. So I think the adaptive management part is a very important part, and I think it's well thought out.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to commissioner deliberation or a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the Chehalis Basin Partnership Addendum in response to the 2018 Stream Flow Restoration Act.
Second, and then I have a comment.
All right, go ahead with your comment.
Madam Chair, thank you. First off, just a word of thanks to Dave and staff at Mason County for diligently working on this over the past several months. As Dave mentioned, this is in response to legislation to address the Supreme Court's first ruling from way back in 2016, which feels like 2 lifetimes ago now. But I think it's important for us to recognize how important this is to our water planning in Mason County. And it ought to be proof to our other partners in RIAs 14 and 15 that we can in fact get a plan done, agree to a plan, and then work on implementing it. And so this is, I hope, the first domino to fall in terms of our watershed planning with those other entities, and really is a testament to our willingness to engage with partners, both at the county level. This has a number of other counties involved in the planning process. Cities are involved in this, as well as tribal governments. And so I hope folks in 14 and 15 are paying attention to us getting this adopted today. This is a really critical component to our overall watershed health in Mason County. And and frankly, I hope that there are elements of this agreement that find their way into agreements in 14 and 15. And so this is definitely a cause for celebration for us to get this part of it wrapped up. But we move onward to get the other two completed as well, because those are critical. And I hope people are taking note, because this plan is better than no plan that we would potentially be looking at without agreement in watersheds 14 and 15. And so it's really critical that we continue to pursue those, celebrate this, because I think this is really a great win for our county. But let's keep our eye on the ball and continue to get that same success in 14 and 15.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll concur with that. Thank you, Dave, and all your staff for all the hard work. People have no idea how much has gone into this and how much more is going into it with the other wires that we're dealing with. This is impressive work. It does show, as Commissioner Schutte pointed out, it shows that we can work together, we can get it done, and we can get it started to get it implemented. One of the problems we face in the other wires is the idea that if they can't get everything, they're going to blow it up and we'll end up with nothing. The enemy of good is perfect. I'd rather have something that we can do that will help the environment and allow us to continue to keep our property values there for those that continue or hope to build a home someday. This is a very important work, and there's so much to lose on both sides. It has to be done right, and this one is done right. And again, thank you so much, Dave, and all your staff, and all those that came to an agreement on it, because that's the example we're looking for in the other virus. So thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Dave and my seatmates, Commissioner Schutte and Commissioner Netherland. You guys all put in many hours working on the agreements, and I appreciate the time and dedication that you all do.
I'm sure Dave Wyndham will agree that we need to make a county code that requires that you can have no Zoom meetings that extend past 4.5 hours, which we always do.
You know, I bet you there's a lot of counties that would follow our lead if we did that. Yeah. All right, so we do have a motion and a second for approval of the Chehalis Basin Partnership Addendum in response to the 2018 Stream Flow Restoration Act. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Hey. Celebration at my house tonight.
A little Fonzie thing happening there. Yeah. Show your age, just like me.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Dave, and thank your staff too.
Will do.
All right. Let's move on to item number 11, board reports and calendars. Commissioner Schutte, if you would go first, Commissioner Netherland, and then I will follow.
Sure, absolutely. After this meeting today, I have a MACECOM board of directors meeting. Later on this week, I have my monthly call with the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as a meeting with Scott Brewer from the Hood Canal Coordinating Council. I do have RIA 14 Watershed Planning Group meeting, as well as Mason County Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Policy Group. Brings us back to next week with our regular meeting.
All right, Madam Chair, we had our area command that we all attend. I have a meeting of the left board that I attended, WIRA 15 meeting, the one we were talking about with the length of time that should be required, no more than. Had a meeting with the county's audit committee, a Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization Executive Board meeting. Thank you to the Allen Community Association for finding a way to allow Santa to come and visit our community in a safe, COVID-safe manner with plexiglass, the whole 9 yards. But you know what? It got done. The kids were there. They were excited to see Santa, and it warms my heart. Somehow, our communities always find a way. We had executive sessions, a closed session. Coming up, I have we have more area command this next week. Olympic Regional Clean Air Authority, Economic Development Council meeting. I also have a member of the finance committee for the ORCA. I'll be meeting with different businesses in regards to how we can continue to help. Just so you know, as meeting with these businesses, commissioners, they are so thankful to you and all you guys have been able to pull together. And they actually are aware that other counties aren't doing some of the things we're doing. And they are aware that that we could have just kept that money internally to protect us, but instead put it out there. I was really surprised how much they actually knew. I think that's because the EDC is telling them and educating them in all the things that are happening. So a special thank you to that. It makes it easier when they understand it and I go to talk with them. I'm asking them also as a meeting with them, what other things we can do to help, but maybe what things we should bring forward to the state and trying to accomplish things, because not all things are under our control. With that being said, I'd like to take 1 second to explain to the public. I know there's always a big push to have the commission just come out and say, you know, we're not going to follow the state. The problem with that happens is we don't have the authority to do that. We are the arm of the state. They actually have control. And if we were to say that, the only thing we do is we put these businesses at risk, because if they listen to us and believe, just like they did in other counties, the commission said you can do it, you can do it. L&I steps in, or the liquor control board steps in, and we have no control over them. And we are not allowed to use our money to defend them. So therefore, if we would have passed or say something like that, it puts them in danger, and we're here to protect them and not put them in danger. So I just wanted to express that this commission has talked about these things, but we've also sent letters in the past asking the state to recognize that we are all individual counties. We have different individual issues, and we need them to please recognize that and empower us to do what we need to do to protect ourselves, but also keep our community alive by empowering the county, the people on the ground. It'll better serve all of us. And, you know, some of the things that were said out there about different commissioners to me, I want you to know all commissioners that are on this commission currently have all fought for the ability for us to have local control over the issues that we're facing. Nobody on this commission is running away from anything. They're all trying and working hard, trying to protect the community on both sides and keep the people safe and keep the businesses open. It's just a hard thing to do. With that being said, that's my work for the next week.
All right, appreciate that. Well, let's see. So after today, I will be meeting with staff. I do have an area agency on aging meeting today. We have our EOC meetings. The Shelton Dementia Study Group, a Community Action Council meeting, WASAC LSC meeting, the ever important hair appointment, and then we have it's the WASAC virtual assembly on Monday, and then we're back here for a commission meeting on Tuesday. Well, and I do want to thank my seatmates. I do think that we're a good team. We all have our we're all individuals. We all have our own ideals, but we work great together as a team. And I do want to thank you guys for being my seatmates. Past Thanksgiving, but I am thankful for that. So
same here, commissioners, honestly.
Yeah, I think we're a much better team than most counties. So how's that?
This has been a year where that's been needed.
Really has. What an education. Yeah, 2020. Gotta love it. All right, how about moving on to item number 12? Motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. We are adjourned.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you.